Hi, everyone. I'm Dee, and welcome to a gentle yoga practice. So go ahead and come down onto your sits bones and come into any comfortable seated position that works for your body. And from here, we'll make our way onto our backs. I don't usually start this way in an hour-long class, but today's class is on working with the bones and the core. So we're going to lay down on our spine with our legs in whatever comfortable position works for our body. Arms at our side. And let's close down the eyes, focusing on the breath. Watching the breath enter and leave as we inhale and exhale. Slowing the breath down as we lie here in stillness, using our inaction to change our inner landscape. With this slowing down of the breath, let's focus our minds just on the present moment. Just thinking about the breath moving in and out, or perhaps moving our awareness to any other part of the body that is experiencing sensations. And from here, we'll move into belly breathing. I like to think of belly breaths as having three different parts for the inhale, three different parts for the exhale. As we inhale, first we'll fill our belly, navel lifting away from the spine. Then it moves to the middle chest and finally towards the collarbone. As you exhale, think of your body or torso divided into those same three sections. First, you release the breath from the collarbone, then from the mid chest, and finally from the navel as you squeeze the breath out. Let your body experience 5 to 10 belly breaths here. Feel the energy in your torso as you cultivate this breath. Feel the energy moving through your body here. And now bring your awareness to your pelvis, letting your breath just slide away from your control. Body softer. Think of your spine right now being in a neutral position and begin to press down into the floor through your mat with your sacrum. Soles of the feet on the mat, so bending up through your knees if your legs were straight. And we're going to begin to rock our pelvis, just tilting back and forth. We're going to find a neutral spine, and we're going to think about a space the size of a blueberry in between our spine and the floor, right at the lumbar section, the part that's lifted, feeling that sacrum and the shoulders pressing into the floor here. So we call this the blueberry sacrum. We're going to move the spine and the pelvis, tilting one more time back and forth. And then we're going to find that blueberry sacrum spot. Pressing down through both feet. And let's walk the feet hip distance apart. Let's do a motion now called sacral clock. We're going to imagine that our sacrum is a clock, and we're going to imagine the space where we are is 12. Slowly begin to circle your sacrum along the floor until you get to 3, 6, 9, and back to 12. And then do that one more time. Coming back to 12. Let's go the opposite direction a couple of times. So we're going from 12 to 9 to 6 to 3 and back to 12. Nice. Now let's inhale, lifting, our knees up so that they're right on top of our hips. And next we'll do some heel drops. Let's press through both heels. Okay, and so think of your forelegs as being parallel to the ground. And let's draw our arms down by our sides, palms down. And let's begin to drop the heels, keeping that 90-degree knee extension or flexion, rather, the same as we drop the heels side to side, letting the heel and knee that's lifted hold us to our shape, using the abdomen muscles to lower and lift. And then we'll hug the knees in as we need to take a break. Letting the arms wrap around the legs and letting the weight of our lower body help cement our spine and round it, taking that blueberry out of the spine. We'll exhale and lower our feet to the mat. We'll set ourselves up again to where our pelvis is neutral and we can feel just the space of a blueberry in between. So remember, this is our blueberry sacrum and lumbar spine. Let's inhale, lifting the knees and feet. And we'll begin to press through both heels and then slowly drop each heel one at a time, keeping the opposite knee stacked above the hip, using our core here with our gentle clasp for bones and for core. Let's bring our knees into the chest one more time, releasing from our heel tapping, our heel drops. And let's hug the knees in and shift the body from left to right, letting the head move as it wants, as the body rotates side to side. Let's come back to center and let our knees float down to the mat. And let's begin windshield wipers. So we'll exhale, knees lower. Inhale, knees lift. Exhale, knees lower. Inhale, knees lift. Let's keep moving from side to side, each of us at our own pace with our breath. The area above the waist stays the same, or from the low ribs. The body is just lying there as the lower body shifts from side to side. Good. Next time your knees are up towards the sky, we're going to come into chair pose with our arms on our back. Okay. So we'll lift our feet up away from the floor. And we want to press through the soles of the feet as if we were standing. And so our heels are kind of halfway between knee height and the mat, and our arms are extended straight out from the shoulders towards the ceiling. And we're breathing an easy breath here, holding this shape. And then let's release and come into windshield wipers again. Next time the knees are lifted, let's inhale, lifting the feet parallel to the ground again, the lower legs. And let's come onto all fours while on our back. From here, we're going to come into sunbird. So imagine sunbird not at table, but from this shape. So we're going to extend one leg and then reach the opposite arm. Let's bring it all back to table and go to the other side. Find your sunbird. Come back to table. Find your sunbird again. Come back to table. Last side. Find your sunbird here. And then bring both knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. Let's roll all the way over onto our bellies and rest here, perhaps drawing our elbows out to the side, stacking our palms, and resting our forehead, flattening the feet, and letting the belly, the chest, the forehead, the hips, the knees, the tops of the feet, the elbows, all sinking into the floor here. Let's let the next inhale lift our head, neck, and chest away from our palms. We can press down on the hands to walk the elbows in underneath our shoulders. Propping ourselves up here. Now let the lower part of the body get heavy. Make any adjustments you need so that your feet remain flat, hip distance apart. Elbows right underneath shoulders, forearms pressing into the mat, palms pressing into the mat, fingertips pressing. See if you can release from your navel to your collarbone. Here in Sphinx, taking a few breaths, spending some time here. And think of lengthening more than lifting. Lengthening more than lifting. Take a few more breaths in Sphinx. This is a very, very nice back shape that counteracts the sitting that we do. So allow yourself to surrender here. Good. Let the next exhale release you from Sphinx. And let's draw our hands down by our sides and turn our cheek, resting our head on the mat. Let's inhale, shift our nose towards the floor, and peel our upper body up off the mat, reaching our fingertips alongside of us, maybe rotating elbows, excuse me, not elbows, wrists, so that the palms are facing in. Let's engage the core, tighten the glutes, the hamstrings, point the toes back behind you here in locust. As you're ready to release, find your comfortable spot, drawing arms forward, releasing your head to the floor. Feet are flat on the floor. And let's come up into locust one more time as you're ready. Inhaling to lift. Hands move alongside the body, perhaps pointing toes and lifting the feet. Good. Lengthening more than lifting. Let's move our arms out like a T. And now let's come into cactus arms. Breathing here as we stay lifted, strengthening our core and bones. Exhaling to release. Lying down, resting on our bellies. Let your body soften and melt towards the floor. Let your next inhale lift you up off of your belly, and we'll come into table. Hands and knees underneath shoulders and hips. And let's talk about the cat-cow controversy. Let's first experience moving just our hips. So we'll start to rock and rotate the hips, tilting them just like we did when we were on our backs, back and forth. Good. Now, the controversy is that as we age and as our bones experience some less dense conditions, it's said that we shouldn't curl the shoulders or move the shoulders with our cat-cow. So take that with a grain of salt. If you're younger and you're used to that motion, I would definitely continue. Excuse me. I have a cold that's taken forever to get over. All right, we'll bring our spine to neutral. And let's come up to standing either through downward facing dog or through coming up onto one foot, whichever is most comfortable for you, whichever one your body craves as you make yoga your own. Good. We'll all meet standing at the top of our mat, coming up to standing, perhaps lowering the hands to the heart or lifting them up to the heart and pressing into the floor, feeling that action happening between the bottoms of the feet and your mat. All right, from here, let's inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, nose dive, forward fold. Let the head and arms hang. Let the knees bend, and let's rest the belly on the thighs. We'll inhale, coming up into chair. Arms straight out from shoulders or at your sides or at your heart. Hips sinking back and down. Good. From here, we'll collapse into a forward fold again, letting the head and arms hang. Let your hands support you, knees bent, to allow the abdomen to rest, the lumbar spine gets supported. And let's inhale, coming back up into our chair. Hips back and down, pressing into all four corners of both feet. Quadriceps on the thighs, very active here. And then we'll press down through the feet, lift up through the hips, come to standing, reach the arms up overhead, stretch here, and then exhale the arms down by your sides or down through the center to the heart. Come back to your mountain. And from here, let's face the long edge of the mat and walk the legs out wide. Straightening the knees as much as we can comfortably. And we'll turn one foot towards the short end of the mat, keeping that knee straight. Let's inhale our arms out wide like wings. We'll exhale, reach forward, shoulders kind of come forward on a tract, slightly askew of the hips. With this upper body lift, we'll windmill our arms, coming into triangle, stacking palms, elbows, shoulders. Excellent. Inhaling, windmilling the arms straight out by your sides again. Exhaling to release. Let's return the pointed toes to the short end of the mat, back to the long end, and we'll switch sides, keeping the knees straight, 90-degree difference between front and back leg. Inhale, arms out wide like a T. And then we'll reach through the fingertips of the opposite hand, leaning the shoulders slightly over, keeping that torso lifted and windmilling the arms to stack them. Coming into triangle on the opposite side. Pressing the hips down into the leg bones, through the knees, ankle to the feet. And then inhaling to windmill the arms back out wide, releasing the hands and arms, shifting that foot back forward, walking the feet, legs together, and stepping perhaps in place here. The next pose I like to do with blocks and or using props like a couch. A wall would actually be wonderful if you have access to that space. We're going to stand in the middle of our mat in mountain. I'm holding on to a block in each hand. I don't think I'm going to need one of them, but we'll see how this goes. We'll see how my balance is today. The first thing we'll do is release at the hip crease into a forward fold. We'll lean over, placing our right hand down on the mat, letting the block come down as an extension of the hand. We'll step that left foot back as we turn our chest facing our screen to the left. Inhale to lift the back leg a little or a lot. Front foot is at an angle. See if you can find the length from your heel to your head. Maybe extend the top arm here in half moon. Releasing as you're ready, perhaps turning your chest, coming back to that forward fold, and then inhaling to lift back to standing. We'll move to the other side, coming into that hip crease, forward fold, setting that block in hand right beneath the shoulder, maybe even setting the hand on a chair or the couch, turning the chest towards your device and lifting the back leg, perhaps lifting it parallel to the ground or anywhere in between, and then lifting the arm, noticing how different you are on each side, coming out, moving back in as needed, and then coming back to that forward fold, inhaling to lift, back to standing, coming into mountain. All right. Continuing our standing poses to strengthen our bones and our core. From mountain, we'll make our way to crane. To do this, we start out very similar to tree. Press into the mat with one leg, bending the opposite knee, and begin to toe tap, letting the standing leg adjust until you can keep the knee lifted and point the toes down towards the mat, towards the earth. We'll lift our arms, bending our elbows, elbows lower than shoulders, wrists higher, and we'll turn our cupped hands so that the fingers point down. We can add a kick if we'd like Karate Kid, and then release that pose, shift from side to side, maybe swing the arms. And then we'll come back to our mountain, crane on the opposite side, toe tapping, adjusting the standing leg foot, perhaps using the support of a wall or a chair or couch, coming into crane, doing the Karate Kid kick if you'd like, and then releasing, letting the hips shift from side to side. All right, a few more standing, strengthening shapes here. Let's come back to our mountain. And let's release the hands out and up as we breathe in. And lower the hands and arms slowly as we continuously breathe out. See if you can let the breath inspire the movement and let the reversing of the breath reverse the movement. After that, pause. Very short, slight pause. What we'll do next is begin to add the heels. As we inhale, we'll lift the heels. Exhale, we'll lower the heels. Inhale to lift the heels. Exhale to lower the heels. We'll keep lifting and lowering. We want to do this as slowly and smoothly as we're able, getting our brains and our body to work together to slow it down, smooth the lifting and lowering out. And the next time your arms and heels are lowered, let's sink into chair, lifting the arms, pressing into full body stretch, coming up onto the toes, sinking into chair, lifting up, full body stretch, tippy toes, sink into chair, standing up tall, Reaching for the stars on the toes. One more. And then releasing the arms down by the sides. Next, let's come into palm tree. Palm tree, lift the arms. You come up onto your toes and begin to walk around your room, walk across the mat, reaching your fingertips towards the sky, taking your time to stretch up through your toes as much as possible, through your arms, adding strength here. And then relaxing the arms down by your side and coming into a seated position. I like to move my prop underneath my hips here, elevate them, sitting down on the sits bones. Let's stretch our legs out in front of us, and we'll forward fold at our hip crease. But let's go ahead, inhale the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, come forward and down. Release the hands and arms, and just round the head towards your lap. Choose how much you round your shoulders. Let your body hang. Let your arms and head surrender. Breathing easy, slow, extended, and smooth here. Let your next inhale lift your chin away from your chest. Feel the upper body being an extension from the lower body to the diagonal. Press through both heels, both feet. Lengthen the legs, tighten the core. Pressing into the floor to find that opposing lift through the upper body. Now on the next inhale, we'll continue to lift. We'll come into a seated position. And let's draw our legs out wide. Okay. And let's point and flex the feet. Let's turn towards one leg. Inhale the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, we'll release hanging over this leg. Let the chin tuck towards the chest. Just let the body slowly soften down. Take a couple of breaths here. As you're ready to inhale, lift the arms, lift the torso, come straight up and down, and then exhale, moving in reverse. Setting the chest and chin to the center before moving to the opposite side. Inhaling, arms up overhead, chest even with thigh. Exhale, releasing over this leg. Letting the back curl as much or as little as it wants, tucking the chin towards the chest. Toes on both feet pointing towards the sky. Let the next inhale lift the torso and the arms. Come up to a seated position. Exhale your arms down by your side as you rotate your chest and chin forward. From here, let's draw our feet together, and we'll come into a forward fold one more time, inhaling the arms up overhead, exhaling, releasing, surrendering forward here. Lengthening the spine from the tailbone to the brain. Let the next inhale lift your chin away from the chest. Engage the core, continue to lift. Head, neck, and chest comes up to seated. And let's orient ourselves to the side. Let's come down onto the mat, lowering our spine, keeping our knees bent and our feet, bringing our feet flat onto the floor. Good. Let's come into wind relieving pose on the right side. Right knee moves into chest. Exhale, releasing that right knee. Foot floats down to the mat. Switch sides. Inhale, left knee to chest. Hug that knee in. And as you exhale, release the foot to the floor. Let's move back and forth at your own pace. Wind relieving on the right, and then wind relieving on the left. Next time, your right knee is in toward your chest. Bit there. And then inhale, lifting that right foot to the ceiling, pressing into your sacrum. Even on the left and right, drawing the heel over the hip and pressing through that leg. Exhale, we'll release the right foot. It floats down to the mat, and we'll draw the left knee into the chest. Hug this knee in for a breath or two. And then on the next inhale, we'll lift the left leg towards the sky, pressing into the sacrum, into the floor, pressing into the four corners of the right foot. Left leg extended, left heel pressing towards the stars. And then that foot floats down to the mat. The left knee bends, and we'll come into windshield wipers. Let the next exhale lower your knees to one side. As your inhale lifts you back to center. Slowly exhale as the knees fall over. Arms can be in any position by your side, up over your head, out wide like a wing. Let's turn the head in the opposite direction. Knees swaying side to side. The next time your knees and head are at the center, we'll draw our arms alongside our body, pressing into both feet, letting the heels be a few inches away from the hips, maybe 5 or 8, depending on your leg length. Pressing into the back of the head, pressing into the feet, all the way along the arms and the hands. Let's inhale and lift our hips up towards the ceiling. Press your knees towards one another slightly. Stay pressing down through the feet. And on your next exhale, lower your hips and spine all as one. without curving any vertebra. When the hips have released to the floor, sway the knees from left to right. Good. Bring the knees back to center, pressing on the hands and the feet. Inhale, peeling the hips up off the floor. Pressing into the hands and feet to keep the hips lifted. Quads are engaged, knees slightly coming in toward each other. Slightly more narrow than hip distance. Exhaling to release the hips and the spine all at once, and then swaying the knees from left to right gently. Good. Let's bring the knees back to center, and let's lift up one more time into our bridge. Let's bring our hands together underneath our hips and walk our shoulders together. Shoulder blades move in towards the spine, pressing down on the feet, knees drawn slightly in. Lower body engaged, shoulders relaxing, head relaxing. Exhale and lower your bridge, moving your hands out of your way, and tuck yourself into a little seed ball, lifting your head, neck, and chest up off the mat. Tight little ball here. And then release the head, neck, and chest. Let your feet float to the floor. Knees still bent to the sky. Let your next inhale. Press down through the left foot, lift up through the right foot, straighten the knee, leg extends towards the sky. Exhale to bend the right knee out to the side, right ankle comes to left knee and thigh. We're making a figure four shape, and we're going to press our right palm into that right thigh and create a little movement here, a little opening. As you open and close your hip using your femur and knee. Good. We can keep doing this. It also might feel good to lift the left foot off the mat, interlace your hands behind that left thigh, straighten and stretch or bend and compress the knee, the leg, the free leg, that left side. You might even rock from left to right. Come back to center. If we are rocking, we'll release that left leg, uncross the right, and just let your body settle here for a second before moving our piriformis stretch into the opposite hip. Pressing into the right foot now, inhaling to lift the left leg up towards the sky. Straightening and stretching this leg before bending the knee and coming into that same figure four shape over here. Left hand opens, left thigh. Stretching the knee away from the body to open that hip. Perhaps staying here or floating up that right foot, interlacing the hands behind the right thigh and drawing the legs in. Right leg as bent or straight as you'd like. And perhaps rocking from left to right. Nice. Coming back to the center, releasing the thigh if we were holding on, floating the feet down towards the mat. From here, we'll come into a twist, letting both knees fall over and float down to the left. Inhaling the arms out wide like wings or to cactus arms. Pressing into both shoulders evenly. And breathing into our belly. Softening here. If you'd like to stick a block in between both knees or at the ankles, that can soften this shape. Help the hips feel more comfortable. Take 5 more breaths here. On the next inhale, start to make your way out of this twist, adjusting everything back to center, maybe reaching your arms down by your side, and take just a few breaths here before moving. When you're ready, let your knees fall over the opposite direction. Inhale your arms out wide like wings or into cactus arms. Secure both shoulders evenly in towards the mat and floor and earth. Let your arms grow heavier. Come to your breath. Taking 5 full breaths here. As you inhale next, start centering everything in the body, lowering the arms down by your sides. And let's straighten the legs out and inhale the arms up towards the sky and back behind us in a full body stretch. Take a breath or two to stretch right leg, right arm. Take a breath or two to stretch left leg, left arm. Take a breath or two to stretch right arm, left leg. And then left arm, right leg. And then all limbs. Keep this stretching up as you walk both hands to the left. Stay here for 3 breaths. Then walk hands and feet over to the right. Stay here for 3 breaths. Walk the hands and feet back to the center. Bring your arms down by your side and come into student choice. Maybe moving into happy baby or dead bug. Maybe doing a yoga walk. Maybe doing windshield wipers. Maybe stretching the back, the arms, the legs. Breathing easy, transitions smooth. Take 5 more breaths, listening to your body, moving or in stillness to give the body the last of what it needs. And next, we'll begin to settle into a comfortable Shavasana shape, perhaps elevating the head slightly, straightening down through the legs or bending up through the knees. Taking some time to come into our most comfortable posture, pose, shape, letting yourself slowly release more and more of your muscles, getting the whole body to be more at ease, softer. Begin to focus once more on your breath. Feel the change as your body moves from inhale to exhale. And as your body moves from exhale back to inhale, we'll scan the body starting with the feet, bringing our attention to the tips of the toes, opposite the toenail, on each little appendage, bringing our awareness into the ball of each foot, into the arches, across and down, into the heel, into the top of both feet, the ankles, into the shins and calves with our awareness, moving into both knees, thighs, hamstrings, and on into the hips, pelvis, the groin area, on up the spine, from the tailbone to the brain, visualizing that whole length. Feeling the hips, the navel, the shoulders, the chest, the back, the whole torso. Moving into the shoulders, into each arm with our awareness, upper arms, elbows, the ulna and radius, the wrist, the carpals, the metacarpals, the phalanges, the whole body lying relaxed on the mat, on the floor. Body settling further and further. Let's very slowly begin to rock our chin from left to right, letting the back of the head rotate across the floor, maybe leading with our nose. Bringing our nose back to center. Let's roll over slowly onto one side, taking a few breaths here. In no hurry, staying in the present moment as we lie here and breathe. As you're ready to move further, we'll begin to press down on the floor to lift up. Head, neck, and chest come away from the ground, shifting on the hips, perhaps bringing our prop to elevate ourselves once again up off the mat. Legs in any comfortable shape or position, sitting up nice and tall. Let's release our hands by our sides, and we'll let the next inhale lift the arms and hands up overhead. Palms come together and hands release down the center of the body all the way to the heart. Let's gently close our eyes, and we'll let the next exhale lower our chin towards our chest as we bow to the divine goddess in each one of us. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Let your next inhale lift your chin, flutter open your eyes slowly, release your hands, and thank you all so much for practicing this gentle bone and core strengthening class with me this morning or this afternoon, whenever you're taking this. Take care, and I hope to see you next week.